Hey guys, it's Ru. What's up? I hope you're good. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to what I read in June, because somehow we're already in July. So there might be some background noise on this video because there's a fan open. First I read There Are No Saints and There Is No Devil by Sophie Lark. I'd already read one of Sophie Lark's series before. It's the one of Brutal Prince. That's the first one. Brutal Birthright? I think that's the name of the series. And I already really liked her writing, so I was like, why not? I went with my best friend to the bookstore one day and I found these. We both bought the first one and there was only one copy of the second one, but I knew I was gonna read it like faster. Like I was gonna read it closer than she would, so she likes to say I stole it from her, but we don't talk about that. So these books are about Cole and Mara. Cole is an artist. He makes statues for a living. He's very well known in the art world. He is also a serial killer. Mara is trying to pierce in the art world to no avail. She lives in a house with like 10 roommates and she's just trying to make it big. Mara ends up being a victim of Cole's rival artist slash other serial killer and left to die even though she was alive. From that point on, Cole takes on an attachment, an obsession with her, and gives her a way to pierce in the art world while being able to like stalk her and just see her at all time. So it's a darker romance, but it's not the darkest I've ever read. Like I've read darker than this, but I did really like that serial killer element that pushed them closer together, and yeah, I really liked it. So I ended up giving the first one a 4-star and the second one a 3.5. I loved the vibe of the first one, and we did go more into serial killer territory in the second one and stray a little bit more of the art world, even though I loved how the art was presented in the first book. Next, I read 2 books of one of my favorite authors. I've said it in the past, I have a top 3 of authors. They are all auto-buy for me. First, we have Ali Hazelwood. Second, we have Lily Gold. And third, we have Anna Wong, which is whose book I read this month. So honestly, after these books, I only have to read like the If Love series, which is our first ever series. We caught up to like everything she's ever put out. So I read, first of all, King of Greed. I thought this book was gonna make me cry, and somehow it did it. I gave it a 4.5. This book is about Dominic and Alessandra Davenport. They are a married couple. They have been married for 10 years. And over the years, the more it goes on, the more Dominic is big on Wall Street, and the less he's home, the less he takes time for his wife. And he ends up missing their 10-year anniversary. Alessandra and Dominic were supposed to leave for DC where they met and have a weekend there, and he shows up 3 to 4 hours, I'm not sure 100%, after the time they were supposed to catch a flight. And that day, Alessandra decides that she's had enough and that she's gonna file for divorce. Dominic, he does not want that. He ends up signing the papers, but he then goes on this mission to make her fall back in love with him, and he finally like puts his job to the side a little bit more and really concentrate on her. And during all that, Alessandra's finally like finding herself again because of her business, and yeah, it was very sweet. I loved it. After that book, I started a little bit of a reading slump, and I was like, you know what? it's okay. I'm just gonna read another Anna Wong book, which this one is fic. Honestly, King of Sloth is fic. So I picked up King of Sloth because I was like, I love Anna Wong. And I was in a slump for the whole time I read this book. I read this book in like 12 days. I usually read a book in like max 5 days. So, it took me like 10 to 12 days to read it. But it was still a very good book. I gave that one a 4 stars. And this one is about Xavier Castillo and Sloane Kensington. We already know Sloane from the friend group with Vivian and Isabella, which is the same friend group that Alessandra slowly but surely made her way into. And she is a PR rep. Now, Xavier Castillo, bad boy, playboy, billionaire, waiting on his inheritance, that is also Sloane's client. During the first 100 pages of this book, Xavier's father passes away. And in his will, there is a clause. If Xavier wants access to his inheritance, which is like $8 billion, he needs to be CEO by the age of 30, which is 6 months away. Now, his whole life, Xavier's father thought that Xavier would be the CEO of his company, of the Castillo, I think it's a beer, some kind of alcohol, I think it's beer, empire. And Xavier was never interested in that. But when the will is read, he finds out that there's a loophole. His father only said to be CEO by age 30. So he then goes on a mission to open his own nightclub in 6 months and make it be good and popular enough to be considered a CEO and get his inheritance. And during all of that, well, Xavier and Sloane has to keep working together, and Xavier is pining for her, okay? And he's just trying his best to get her to like him back, and they do fall for each other. So I gave that a 4 star. I was in a slump while reading it, but it was still good, you know? And probably would have given it a 4.5 if I wouldn't have been in a slump. But being in a slump a lot of time makes my rating go down a little bit because of that feeling. I then picked up a Lily Gold book that took me out of that slump like a motherfucker, okay? I picked up Nanny for the Neighbor by Lily Gold. It was like my 3rd read of that. She's one of my favorite authors. Her books are comfort books to me. And I read it in like 2 days. And just, you know, this is... So Nanny for the Neighbor is about Beth, who is a nanny without a job. She's been without a job for about 6 months, and she's getting desperate. One day, her 3 upstairs neighbors, we have Cyrus, Sebastian, and Jack, who she's had a crush on Jack for a long fucking time, okay, since she moved there. These 3 men have a baby left on their doorstep with a note that says, "To the boy in apartment 5A, congratulations, you have a kid." And those men have no idea what to do with a kid. Cammy, the baby, is only 6 months old. They have nothing. They didn't even know that their ex was pregnant, and she's now in rehab for a drug addiction. So what do? Well, Jack goes and knock on Beth's door and is like, "Hey, like, can you nanny for us? We're gonna pay you. You need to basically teach us how to be dads." And well, throughout that, they all fall for each other. My favorite in this is definitely Cyrus, even though a lot of time like when I read it, it alternates between Cyrus and Jack. This is just a very sweet found family moment because they all have shitty family lives. Beth was in foster care her whole life. Jack's parent loves his siblings more. Cyrus, like, family doesn't talk to him anymore. Sebastian's mother and stepdad are shit. So it's a found family. And something I love in Lily Gold's book is that they have personalities and backstories. It's not just like, ooh, yeah, put 3 dudes and a girl and they're gonna fuck till they die. That's their whole personality. I mean, there is some good smut. Well, I'm not gonna deny that. But they have a lot of personality, a lot of character. And it's a 5 out of 5 for me. Every time I reread Lily Gold's book, it's always a 5. Yeah. Last but not least, I read the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abby, which the author's actual name is C.M. Owens, writing as S.T. Abby, Stabby. We love that. It's a 5-book series. I have it in one. And it's basically a FBI profiler and a serial killer in a relationship. If you like Criminal Minds, you are gonna love our love interest. So our male love interest is Logan Bennett, who is a FBI profiler, and one of his cases currently is a serial killer who seems to be killing only alpha men from this one small town that is practically a cult. Our serial killer is Lana Myers, who is from that small town and has had a tragic past with the men she is killing. Her brother and her were in a gang rape and beaten up, left for dead. And her brother died while taking her, after like he took her to a hospital. Pretty traumatic if you ask me. And so during this whole series, Logan is looking for who is basically his girlfriend. Logan is looking for the serial killer. So Logan and Lana are both people who don't really date, but they find a sense of comfort in each other, a home in each other that they didn't know they could have. Lana knows he's an FBI agent, but she also knows that her love for him is quite strong and that she wants this relationship to keep going. Her best friend Jake has also like changed her identity and everything, so she's pretty sure that she's not gonna be linked to the small town that she's from and to those murders. So she is in a relationship with this FBI profiler while also being a serial killer. So the more this series goes on, the more her endgame is coming up, and the more Logan and his team are feeling that the endgame is coming up, and they're also getting closer and closer to finding out that it's Lana. Yeah, I feel like the books get more and more intense as they go on, but I fucking loved it. First 2 books I gave them 4-star. The 3rd and 4th I gave it a 4.5, and by the 5th one I gave it a 5-star. Also, can we talk about floppiness of this book, okay? So yeah, that's what I read in June. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! There's a moth in my house. What the fuck are you doing in here? How did you get there? Okay, cool. I don't see it anymore. The fuck? Okay. There's a fucking moth in my house, my guy. Fuck, it's gone. I don't see it anymore. I saw it, and then it's gone again. Anyways, that fucking moth. There's also one outside, but this one's inside. I'm gonna try to catch that. are you? Did you get inside the AC? Bro, just got inside of the AC? Well, I can't help you now, bitch. Oh. I tried to save them off, and it went inside of our unused AC. It's probably gonna die there.